I was one of the directors on a little tiny movie called Fu Panda. And after the success of that movie, I really started to branch out and try to sort of get some projects off the ground that I've always wanted to do. And so I approached Coldplay, just asking them if they wanted to make an animated film. And that started the process of developing this story, this universe. And it kind of ended up kind of snowballing into a lot of different directions. And one of them was to really map out the universe and the story in comic book form. So that's kind of the long and winding road that brings us to here, because the 6-issue series is actually an expression of that larger universe and that larger feature film that we were developing that hopefully will be a film at some point. But the idea was to marry animation and music together to create sort of a new kind of hybrid film that would be kind of like an update of the idea of Yellow Submarine. What that was to the Beatles would be for Coldplay.
So how many years have you been working on this project?
Many years. Really, yeah, for the last like 3-4 years, we've been talking about it, developing it, and developing lots of different artwork. Some of it we'll show you today. But yeah, it's been kind of a crazy experience.
We're just lucky because it kind of fell into our laps a few months ago, and Mark was just raring to go. So tell me, so Mylo Xyloto has been out for maybe about 1.5 years now, the album, and it's a platinum album.
We actually came out in October of last year, so coming up on I guess about 9 months that it's been out. And the plan, at one point the plan was to try to sort of do it simultaneously, but the band was just so excited about the music that they wanted to put the album out first and really let everything else come after it. So we've kind of been keeping it a secret and kind of laying low about this secret narrative, and there's a lot of cues on the album and a lot of hints, I think, all along the way, but now we're sort of really kind of put the whole thing out there and so people can start putting the pieces together.
So we've been explaining it as we can as the epic story behind the concept of the whole album. Can you just flesh that out a little bit? Let us know what we're talking about.
It is. It's actually. It's kind of been a very strange, an interesting process, because it began when the songs of the album were really just in demo stage, and there were a lot of just early ideas, and so we were really talking back and forth about ideas for the story, and they were developing the music. So it was kind of happening side by side, and then once Alex got involved and started creating the artwork for the comic, and then eventually Steve got involved and started coloring the comic. It really started to influence the process, and it's just been a great collaboration now.
So why don't you start taking us through some of the images you have?
Sure. So this is the cover, and this is the image that's been released so far. So this is all anyone has seen so far of this. This is the spread, the front and back. What's that? Oh, kill the lights. Yeah, it's kind of a dark image. There we go. Hey. So this is the 2-page spread for the cover. This is actually the cover for the. So I should say this is the exclusive cover that we're selling here at Comic-Con. This is the cover that will be on the first issue when it's released in February, and this is the 2-page spread of that issue.
And who's the artist on these two covers?
This first cover was done by an artist named Vladimir Shilest. He's a Russian artist that did a lot of development work early on, and he did this image as part of the development, and it always stayed with us as a really strong image. So we decided to make it the variant. This cover was done by an artist named Arthur Hugo, and he did this for us just recently, and we thought it was a really cool idea. Here's the first page of the comic, and I'll just give you a little bit of a sense of what the story is. And it's really inspired by dystopian, any kind of sort of George Orwell 1984 dystopian future kind of novels and movies like Brazil, and the world is Silencia that we live in, and it's a world that has outlawed music and color, and it's a very almost like a police state, and it's controlled by these soldiers called silencers. And we get a sense of this, this society that's kind of clamped down, and we don't quite know why, and it's quite a mysterious reveal as we go through it. But just to give you a sense of the inspiration for the series, this is some of the stuff that we used early on. Of course, Mobius being a great influence to both Alex and myself, and really inspired the tone of the comic. We really wanted to find a way to do something that would be as cool and as interesting as his work. And that's actually how we found Alex, because his work really reminded us a lot of Mobius. And we also used a lot of reference from like Studio 4C and anime to try to sort of make sure that we were sort of pushing in a unique direction. Here's some reference that we used to kind of help develop the world, and the idea of using propaganda posters and this kind of military kind of style oppression. And the world itself is a world that's kind of based on this idea that we're using soundproofing materials to kind of keep the world quiet. So we used a lot of soundproofing ideas to help kind of design the environments. And here's some early designs, concept work for the silencers that eventually were developed further by Alex. And I don't know if you want to talk about Alex a lot here.
Yeah, for the most part, taking a lot of that reference from all the propaganda stuff, and kind of infusing it with, I guess, also like, who's the guy who did Star Wars? Yes, exactly. We use like that kind of like influence as well. The helmets and you know, tight uniforms. Yeah, I mean, the propaganda thing is definitely a huge tool that we've been using.
As we continue to go through the comic a little bit and give you a sense of it, there's a very, oh good, we just got a text. We're approved to show you some very secret stuff at the end of it. So, stay tuned for that. What we have in this world, there's a couple of other elements. One of them is the hypno feed, which you may be aware of if you've ever been to the Coldplay website. We've kind of created this this contraption, this helmet that all the citizens have to wear in order to suppress any sound and color that might be in the environment. They have to wear these giant helmets that kind of restrict their view to a little black and white view of the world. And we did a lot of crazy kind of exploration of the hypno feed, and the ideas were based on a lot of different things. Mainly, my favorite reference is Albert Brooks made a movie called Real Life, and it's over there in the bottom right-hand corner. And that helmet is actually a 60mm camera that was used in sort of an early spoof of reality television of this helmet that would follow these people around and film them kind of inconspicuously, but of course it's not very inconspicuous. So we created this idea that all the citizens are constantly wearing these helmets to kind of keep them constantly entertained. It's almost like they're watching TV all the time, but the helmets cause a lot of problems because people can't see very clearly. The other element in this world is the threat, and the reason why color and noise have been suppressed is because of these vicious creatures called the Eaters. And there's a great fear that these Eaters are attracted by sound and music, and they're going to come and eat everybody. So everybody has to keep quiet. And when people aren't quiet, they get the smack down by the silencers. But if we go ahead and look at this is where we reveal our main character, Mylo Xyloto, and his best friend Rex. And they're two, just average soldiers in this army of silencers trying to keep the peace and trying to keep the population kind of safe from this great threat. Mylo was actually developed and inspired by a lot of different sort of elements, the main one being Marty McFly. Chris is obsessed with Back to the Future, and so we kind of were taking a lot of inspiration and trying to sort of find an iconic look and feel for our character that eventually Alex kind of developed further into sort of the final look. And actually I have my cat as a character too, but Alex can talk a little bit about Rex being the two sort of heroes of the story.
Yeah, Mylo was kind of a bit of a challenge to come up with because Chris didn't want the character to look anything like him because the band is not in the book whatsoever. But for some reason, I kept going in that direction where it was kind of had similar features, minus the nose, of course.
We did a lot, actually. I'm going to jump out for a second and go to this other document. We did a lot, Alice did a lot of exploration of